Okay, ready to dive in. We're tackling a classic today, How to Win Friends and Influence People
Oh, fantastic.
by Dale Carnegie.
A classic.
Yeah, this book has been a bestseller for almost a century.
And there's a reason.
And for good reason. It's
Yeah.
like its wisdom is woven into the fabric of like every self-help book since.
Absolutely. I mean, even if you haven't read it, you've definitely felt its principles
Yeah.
in action.
Right.
They're everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
So for this deep dive, we're extracting those core principles, those nuggets of wisdom that can help us navigate relationships more effectively.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's at work in our personal lives or even just online.
Yeah. And, one of the most powerful places that Carnegie starts is with this idea of criticism,
Okay.
or rather, how to avoid it completely.
Interesting, because like, don't we need to point out flaws if we want people to improve?
Right.
Isn't that how we grow?
It seems counterintuitive.
Right.
But think about it for a second.
Okay.
Think about a time when someone criticized you. How'd it make you feel?
Defensive, immediately wanted to like justify myself or just shut down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what Carnegie was onto.
Okay.
He said when we criticize, even if we think we're being helpful,
Mm-hmm.
it triggers defensiveness. It makes people clam up instead of opening up.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
So instead of focusing on what someone did wrong,
Yeah.
how should we approach those conversations, especially if we need to address like a problem?
Get curious.
Okay.
Instead of judging, ask yourself, what might be going on that I don't know about?
Ooh, that's good.
Right.
It's like shifting from they messed up to like, what's the context here?
Yes.
Yeah.
What's the context? What am I missing? What don't I know about this person's experience?
And I'm guessing that approach goes a lot further than just like pointing fingers and being like, you did this wrong.
Absolutely. Approaching the situation with empathy,
Yeah.
a genuine desire to understand.
Yeah.
And speaking of making people feel understood, Carnegie says the biggest secret to influencing people is making them feel important.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right.
Everyone wants to feel valued.
Yeah.
But how do we actually do that
Yeah.
in a way that feels genuine?
Right.
Because I feel like we can all spot a phony compliment
Oh, yeah.
like a mile away.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah, and that's where genuine appreciation comes in.
Yep.
Carnegie distinguishes between empty flattery,
Right.
which can feel insincere,
Yeah.
and true appreciation, which is about noticing and acknowledging what's good in a specific heartfelt way.
So instead of a generic great job,
Yeah.
you might say something like, the way you handled that client call was incredible. Your calm demeanor really saved the day.
Now you're speaking Carnegie's language.
Okay.
It's about making people feel seen and valued for their unique contributions.
And I bet that kind of genuine appreciation creates a much more positive
Absolutely.
and productive dynamic.
It changes the whole game.
Yeah.
When you focus on helping others achieve their goals, you actually become more influential in the process.
Interesting. It's like that saying, a rising tide lifts all boats.
I love that analogy
Yeah,
because it speaks to the interconnectedness of our success.
totally.
And Carnegie was all about that he truly believed that focusing on others ultimately helps us achieve our own goals as well.
So we've got these powerful fundamentals. Ditch the criticism, embrace genuine appreciation, and focus on helping others shine.
Yes.
What other practical tips does Carnegie offer? I'm ready for those actionable insights.
Oh, he's got a treasure trove of them.
Okay.
And he says it all starts with something so simple, yet incredibly powerful,
Mm-hmm.
a genuine smile.
Okay, I can get behind that.
Yeah,
A smile is contagious.
it is.
But does it really carry that much weight in terms of like building relationships?
You'd be surprised.
Okay.
Think about it. A smile is instant warmth. It instantly tells people you're approachable. You're happy to see them. And in a world that can often feel disconnected, that kind of warmth goes a long way in establishing rapport.
It's like a universal sign of
It really is.
goodwill.
Yes.
Yeah.
And speaking of connection,
Yeah.
Carnegie also understood the power of names.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that feeling when someone remembers your name after meeting you just once?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
It's like you actually made an impression.
It makes you feel seen.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
That simple act of remembering a name can make someone feel incredibly valued.
It's like they cared enough to hold on to that piece of you even for a little bit.
And that feeling of being valued is priceless.
Okay.
Now, when it comes to conversations,
Yeah.
Carnegie says the real magic happens when we let other people do the talking.
Oh, man. That's a tough one, especially for someone like me who loves a good conversation.
Right.
Like, I want to jump in.
It's hard,
Yeah.
but there's a reason why we have two ears and one mouth.
Okay, point taken. Listening is key.
Yes.
But seriously, it's so tempting to just launch into our own stories,
Of course.
especially when we're passionate about something.
Yeah. But holding back and really listening, truly engaging with what the other person has to say,
Yeah.
that's where those deeper connections are formed.
So showing genuine interest,
Yes.
asking questions, being an active listener, those are all key ingredients to building rapport.
All of that.
Okay, what else you got? I know there was something in the material about speaking in terms of the other person's interests, right?
Right.
Like, what does that actually look like in practice?
Let's say you're at a networking event.
Oh.
You meet someone new. Instead of launching into what you do,
Mm-hmm.
find out what they're passionate about,
Mm-hmm.
what lights them up,
Mm.
and then engage with that.
So it's about finding that common ground, that spark of connection that goes beyond just exchanging business cards.
Exactly.
I like it. And speaking of sparks, let's talk about winning people over to our way of thinking.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, once we've built that rapport,
Right.
there might be times when we want to influence a decision or advocate for something we're passionate about. So how do we do that effectively? Especially if someone's coming from a totally different perspective.
Well, this one might surprise you.
Okay.
Carnegie says the first rule of persuasion is to avoid arguments altogether.
Wait, seriously? But what if you're right?
He says even then, winning an argument often means losing the relationship.
I see what you mean.
When people feel attacked,
Yeah.
they dig in their heels.
For sure.
They become less likely to hear what you have to say,
Yeah,
even if it's like the most brilliant idea ever.
totally. When I feel cornered, like my defenses go up and I'm way less likely to actually listen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So how do we navigate those disagreements?
Right.
Which, let's face it, are inevitable in life,
Yeah, they happen.
without it turning into like a battle royale.
Okay, so how do we do that?
One of Carnegie's biggest tips is to never tell someone they're wrong outright.
Okay.
Instead of saying you're completely off base,
Right.
try something like, hey, I might be missing something here, but
Okay.
keeps the conversation open and invites dialogue.
That's so much less confrontational. You're acknowledging that you don't have all the answers,
Exactly.
which I think can be surprisingly disarming.
It shows humility,
Yeah.
a willingness to learn from their perspective.
And if you're the one who messed up, what does Carnegie say?
Own up to it,
Really?
quickly and sincerely,
Even if it's like a professional setting and you feel like you should have it all together?
especially then,
Okay.
because people respect that honesty.
I can see that.
It builds trust and shows that you're accountable for your actions.
Like you're human.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about avoiding arguments and taking responsibility for our mistakes.
Right.
What else does Carnegie suggest when it comes to like leading with influence?
He dedicates a good portion of the book to leadership.
Oh, okay.
But the cool thing is, these principles apply even if you're not managing a team.
I like that.
It's about influencing positive change in any relationship.
It's about leading from wherever you are. I love that. So what are some of those leadership principles?
One of the biggest takeaways is the power of specific, heartfelt praise.
Okay.
And I mean really specific
Right.
instead of a generic good job. Try something like, the way you handled that client call was amazing. Your calm demeanor really de-escalated the situation.
Wow. That is so much more impactful than a simple good job. It
Yeah.
shows you're really paying attention, that you see and appreciate their unique strengths.
Right. And if you do need to offer criticism,
Yeah.
which let's face it is sometimes necessary,
Sure.
Carnegie suggests sandwiching it between two positive statements.
Oh, so like a compliment sandwich.
Exactly.
Okay, I can get behind that.
Start with something positive, offer the critique, then end on a high note.
It's like you said, making the medicine go down a little easier.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when you want someone to do something, phrase it as a suggestion rather than an order.
Okay.
Would you be open to trying it this way? Feels much more collaborative than do this.
It's all about creating that sense of partnership,
Yeah.
of working together towards a common goal.
Couldn't agree more.
So much better than just dictating from on high.
It's about empowering others to contribute their best,
Right.
which ultimately benefits everyone involved.
It's like that whole catch more flies with honey thing.
Right.
But in this case, it's not about being fake.
No.
It's about approaching every interaction
Right.
with that genuine respect and appreciation,
Absolutely.
which is what makes Carnegie's work so enduring.
Totally.
It's not about tricks or
Yeah.
manipulation. It's about building genuine human connections, which is something that will always be relevant,
Always.
no matter how much the world changes.
It's timeless.
Yeah.
It really is.
So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I'm curious what's resonating with you. What's one thing you're going to try out in your own life?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Um, I think for me, it's that reminder to approach disagreements as opportunities for growth and understanding.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, instead battles to be won.
Instead of trying to like
Right.
score points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody wins that way.
No, not at all.
Right.
What about you?
What about me?
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. There's so many good ones.
I know, right?
But I think if I had to pick just one,
Yeah.
it would be that power of specific praise,
Oh, yeah.
like you were saying earlier.
It's so easy to fall into that
It is.
good job trap.
Yeah.
But when we take the time to really acknowledge someone's specific contribution,
Mm-hmm.
it makes all the difference.
It really does.
So listeners,
Yes.
we want to hear from you too.
Absolutely.
What's your biggest takeaway
Yeah. What resonated?
from our deep dive
What are you going to try?
into how to win friends and influence people?
Yes.
Hit us up on social media.
Let us know.
Shoot us an email. Let's keep the conversation going.
Until next time.
Until next time.